Hello everyone, this is Dr. Yolematics. Welcome to our second lesson on LaTeX writing. So today we are going to learn some new things. We're going to continue from where we left off yesterday, and the objective of today's lesson is we're going to learn how to insert images on your document, and also how to create a data table, and also how to insert some code snippets on your document. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed to this channel, just hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on more that is coming. Otherwise, let's get to it. So first thing that we're going to learn is inserting images. So we're going to learn how to insert images on our document. So we are going to create a section. We're going to place that image, so I'll just call it the results section. And then now let's get to it. So if you are to add an image on a LaTeX document, first you have to make sure that you have inserted this package, the GraphicX package, and the float package, as we have explained in our previous lesson. So if you haven't done so, just do so. Just add these two packages, the GraphicX and the float package. Then if those are there, then this is how you do it. So in order to insert an image, the first thing that you have to do, you have to first create your image environment. So how we do, we say begin fig like that. Then most of the time when we're putting images, we always want them to be positioned at the center of the document. So if you want your image to be positioned at the center of your document, you just add this command, and then your document or your image that you're going to place in this environment is going to be placed at the center of your page. Then to insert the image that you want, this is how you do. So you put the command include graphics command into your fig environment, and then you open up a curly bracket. So inside the curly bracket, that's where you place the document name or the image name as it is saved in your file. So I will create an image, but so far I can just write down the name that I want my image to be called right now. So I will just call it example image 1, like that. Then also, most of the time when we put images in our document, we want our images to have some caption. Some caption is some few sentences which explains what the image is about. So you just have to add your caption, then you can explain shows an image for the data that was obtained from the experiment, like that. Then when you have inserted that, you can then now end the fig environment. So you end your fig, then that's it. So now let's go and create an image, and we're going to save it as we have decided here. So I have an image that is already nearby, which I just created from Python. So this is the image that we're going to try and put into our given data. So I'm going to save it, and when you are saving this image, make sure that it is saved in the same folder as your document folder. So wherever you are saving this folder that you are creating using LaTeX, make sure that also the image you save it in that same exact folder. So I'm going to do that and say save fig, and then I go to my documents, then I go to my LaTeX document, then I'm going to now decide to save it as my example image 1, then like that. Sorry, then I save my document. So once it's saved, now I can just run it and then here we go. So our image has been added to our document, but you can see that it's not sitting exactly where we want it. We wanted it to be under the results section. Now it's running away and entering into a new page. You can control that by changing the size of your image. So you can also determine the size that you want for your image, and to do that you use the command width, and usually width is always maintained at line width, but you can just change it to 0.8, then command line width like that, then you close. So this controls the size of your image. And if you want your image to sit here under the heading that we have given, you have to put a hold command here this way. So you open a square bracket, then you put a capital letter H, then you close the square bracket. Then now let's see. Something is wrong. So let me check what is it. Maybe the spelling. So includes the width, line width. Let me first check this one out and see what happens without this. So let's reload it again. So we see now that here our image is sitting under the results section where we want, and we see our caption there. So this is how we put image into our document. You see, so you can also control the size as I've been writing. So to control the size, use curly brackets, then you use the width command, where you also put line width, then you close. So let's run it like that first before we change the size so that I can see. So the line width, let me first width. I don't know why this command is failing to run today, but we will fix it on our next lesson once I figure out why is it refusing to work today. But yeah, this is how you actually add images onto your document. And yeah, for size, we're going to work on that in our next coming sections. Otherwise, yeah, this is how we add images on our document. You just have to follow all that. At times you can even add many images at the same. If you want maybe another image to sit next to this one, you can also add another line of include graphics and then add another image. Then those images will be put next to each other. It's either sideways or vertically like that, depending on the size of your images. Otherwise, that's it. Then the next thing that we want is to learn how to create a table. So to create a table, I want this table to sit on a new page. So if you want data to be inserted onto a new page, you insert the new page command. So it means whatever follows here will be taken to a new page. So in the new page, we are going to learn how to insert a data table. So how do we insert a data table in a Latex document? So to insert a data table in a Latex document, we create an environment for that where we say begin tabular. So that's it. And most of the time a table has to have a certain number of columns that you will need. The number of rows can be determined also by the length of your data. So you have to decide the columns when you are using LaTeX. So I'll create a table which is only 2 columns for now. and then you can just generalize it from here once you have seen how it's done. So to create a two columns table, next to this environment, I open another curly brackets, and then I use the vertical bar as a symbol that shows that I want to have a vertical line as the start of my table, and then I add a C which says a column, then I close the vertical bar, then I put another column, then vertical bar. So if I want this to have 3 columns, I'll add another C, then another vertical bar, then close like that. But since I said we want only 2, we'll just remove that and then just close like that. So when you have decided on your table, now you can begin. So most of the time we always want a table to be closed at the top. So when you do this, or if you just add what we have added here, Latex will just create a table which is only having vertical lines and only 3 of them, as we'll see, but there won't be any horizontal lines. So to add horizontal line, every time you just use the hline command, then you do like that. So first, a table must have a heading, you see. So in order to put a heading, first I have to know which heading has to go to the left and which one has to go to the right. So I will create a table where we are experimenting with the pendulum. So one of the columns will represent the period, while the other one will represent the number of oscillations of the pendulum. So if I want the period or the number of oscillation to sit on the left, I first start by writing that. So I say number of oscillations. Then I use the end command if I want now the next information to be put onto the second column. So I say period here. Then you put 2 vertical backward slashes so that the next information that we're going to put is going to be placed beneath this one, meaning we want to shift to a new row. But before I do that, I have to put a line again. So I use the edge line so that there is a line which separates the heading from the data which is to come. So if I have my values now, what I have to do, I have to follow the same format that I used here to put my data. So the number of oscillations will always be on the left while the period on the right. So I'll just say 20, then end, then maybe I say 10 oscillations, then like that, then I add an H line to separate my table, then put new number of oscillations, then period, maybe like that, then put double slash, then H line like that. I continue doing the same thing up until I'm done with all the data that I want to add. Then like that. So it will depend on how far I want to go, but for now I'll just end there. So when you have make sure that you have inserted all the number of rows that you need, then you can now close the tabular environment like that. Now you can run and see if your table is created. So here we go. So we see that our table also is created to the left of the document, and most of the time we'll prefer our table also to be at the center of the page. So in order to do that, we can treat this table as if it's an image. So you can put this all under an image environment where you just say begin fig, and then you use the centering command so that this thing is centered to the table, and then you can also end the fig environment so that whatever table that you created, it is treated the same way as a fig, and it's now taken as an image by Latex. So we are now positioning our image. So let's see. So now it's here sitting at the center. So you can also hold it so that it doesn't move very far by using the hold command, and then run again, because now you see it's taken to the center. We want it to be exactly where the top of the document starts. So here we go. So we have seen now what is the function of this hold function. It holds this so that it's positioned exactly where we want it to be positioned in the document. So these are the skills that you have to learn when you are to use LaTeX for report writing. And then the next thing that we want to learn also is how to add a code snippet. Let's say you want to share your codes that you have written in your documents for performing certain tasks, and you want to share it in a document. You have to know how to do that also in LaTeX. So we are going to see how it's done with LaTeX. So if you are to insert a code in a document, you have to make sure that first this package which is called listings is all important on your LaTeX environment. So make sure that you have that. And then how do we then add a code snippet? So I'll want this code to sit on a new page. So I'll just say new page environment, and then I begin. So to put a code, we create an environment for that as follows. So we say lst listing, then like that. So now you open a code environment by using what we call the lst listing function. Then now when you have created that environment, you can add whatever code that you have here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take a code that I have here for in my Python software. Then I'm going to copy all this, and then we're going to put it here into our document. Then we're going to close this environment by saying lst listings again. That's it. So now let's run and see what happens. I don't know why it's taking time, but okay. So I put an S there, which is not supposed to be there. Sorry for that. So let's run it again. Yeah, here we go. So we see that it kept also the formatting of the code as it is in our software. So most of the time when we are sharing codes, we want to keep the formatting of the code, so one can easily read that this is now a code, not just general text. So if you want to share code, this is how you can do it. So you can select also color choices if you want some of the functions to be colored as they appear in Python, but that will be a lesson of another day. So for now, you can just work with this. So